Yo, yo, what's up, everybody? Hope you're doing good and having a good week so far. So, on today's episode is the one and only Tommy Farrow. Tommy is DJ producer from the UK. He released his debut single or debut EP called Let's Just on Stress Records a few months ago. It's an amazing record. If you haven't checked it out, please go check it out. It's amazing. I thought I'd get him on. It's going to be some hot stuff in the future, and I just wanted to kind of introduce you guys to him. Loved it. Great chat with him. He's a good mate of mine now. So yeah, enjoy, people. Without further ado, Tommy Farrow. And we are recording. What's up, Tommy Farrow? How's it going?
Yo, yeah, I'm very good, my friend. How are you?
Good, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for inviting me. It's an honor. Thank you very much.
Anytime, man. So if anyone doesn't know who you are, like I think we started talking in January. I think.
Yeah, it was when I sent the Let's Just demo, wasn't it?
Yeah, you sent me Let's Just, which is obviously one of your records. And I just couldn't stop playing it throughout my tour. And we've just kind of stayed being best buds since then.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I sent you the records and I was like, because it's funny because I thought nobody was gonna I knew Let's Just was a good track, but I thought Can't Explain was especially with yourself, you liking the melodic kind of 4x4 stuff. I was like, he's just gonna vibe from Can't Explain, and Let's Just he'll never play that in his sets, because obviously it's breakbeat and you like the kind of heavy techno stuff. And I was like, you know what? I was like, he's gonna Can't Explain, and I was like, you were like, oh my god, dude, please send me more. And then I forgot we had another conversation about Let's Just. I think because you put it in the Apple Music in a mix or something.
Yeah.
And you were like, dude, you were like, I play this every gig I do. And I remember I was just in the gym and I was like, what the? I was like, what? Will Clarke playing my track? Because this is at a time when I didn't think it was a solid record. I didn't have much DJ kind of opinions on it. I sent it to a couple of my mates and they said it was amazing. But for someone like yourself to say that, I was like, Jesus, maybe it is quite a good track. So,
I wouldn't go by my opinion, mate. My opinion is not right.
Yeah.
I'm just winging it.
Just unless you're just trying to make me happy. But no, because then a few other people after that were saying the same thing. And I was like, shit, this could be quite a dope record. So yeah, and then from there, it's just took a world of its own. So
it's dope, man. I love it. And if anyone listening hasn't heard it, check out Tommy Farrow. Let's Just. It's a great record. I remember when you sent it to me. I was in my place in Detroit, and it was I think it was at night, and I just finished a day in the studio, and you sent it to me, and I was couldn't stop listening to it over and over again. I was like, this is fucking amazing. How did you even send it to me? How did we start talking?
Well, I remember, because obviously I do the seasons in Ibiza, and I remember hearing You Take Me Higher, and I was like, I heard Fisher, he used to close his set every Tuesday with it. Seriously, every Tuesday he used to close his set. And I was like, I've never heard anything so, it was such a cool track. And I was like, and obviously I just didn't know the ID for ages. And then I saw Andre Oliva post it. And then in the comments, it was you. And I was like, shit. I thought Will Clarke made Dirty Bird stuff. And I was like, this guy's not playing anymore. So I was like, and then I checked out your profile. And obviously I've heard your other stuff in your mixes. And I just gave you a follow. It kind of just went from there. And I just see that you're a very nice guy on social media and replied to everyone.
Did you slide into my DMs?
I was like, I'm going to make the most out of this shit. I was like, shit, hopefully I get a reply. And I was like, sorry, I'm just going to send him some new music.
It's Tinder for DJs, just slide into everyone's DMs and just fingers crossed that somebody fucking replies. I'm still the same, man.
Yeah. God, yeah. Honestly, I don't know how, you have taught me one thing, and it's just to reply to everyone.
Yeah,
and I'm so glad that you've taught me that. Because I remember I used to see your SoundCloud comments and your YouTube comments. And it's you don't even have to reply to that shit, but you reply to everything. And I was like, that shit is so inspirational. I was like, I'm going to start doing that. Because obviously on Instagram and stuff, it's cool to do it, but everything, I was just it just showed, I don't know, it kind of makes everybody happy. And, it kind of I feel like if you're nice to other people, they're always going to be nice to you, of course.
I
And
think
it helps with music, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think at the end of the day, we're we're still in an extremely small community. I was talking to this with Rebuke the other day, and the community is so small in house music. Although when we're in it and when you see huge festivals, you see like tens of thousands of people and whatever, and that's a lot of people. But realistically, the core fans is quite a small group. And even if you're like, let's use Fish for an example. Even if you're Fish, like his fan base is huge, but in the grand scheme of like fan bases, it's still small, if that makes sense. It's not like you're Dwayne Johnson. If you know what I mean. And there's like two extremes, and I think where we're at, especially where I'm at, like it's extremely manageable to kind of keep a solid fan base. And also, like, at the end of the day, we're just humans. We still shit out the same hole. Like, it's there's nothing.
It's
like
so true.
I remember I landed in Detroit. Let me see if I've got the guy's name. I'm really bad at remembering names.
I'm the same. I'm terrible. Faces, I'm good at. Names, no.
What's Elon Musk's company? Not Tesla, the other one, the spaceship. Oh my God! Why? How have I forgot this?
Not SpaceX. No.
Yes. Yeah. You're right. SpaceX.
Oh,
I don't know if I saved his number as SpaceX.
What, you got Elon Musk's number?
No. So I
was like, shit, hook me up with that, man.
So I landed in Detroit, and then I met just randomly, like, this guy came up to me. He was like, "Hey, how's it going? Like, looking forward to seeing you tonight." And it was like a guy that worked at SpaceX. And I was like, he's so much more interesting than me. Like, he knows so much more about life than me. And I think that's the thing, is that if, like, we got talking and now we talk occasionally, and you're just like, at the end of the day, this world is so small, and having an ego in this industry is literally, having an ego generally is like the worst thing. We all have egos. I still have an ego, if you know what I mean. But thinking that you're better than somebody because you push a few buttons on stage, or you can make a fucking record, like this dude at SpaceX can like put fucking spaceships like in the sky. I can't even fucking do my 8 times table, like.
Oh my God, yeah, trust me, it's all about perception, isn't it? It's all just kind of what people think's cool and whatnot. So yeah, I totally agree. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just about being humble.
I think that's it. And I think what we're seeing, especially during like coronavirus, I think nowadays people, well, not just coronavirus, but this is a time where like we're fucking nothing. We can't do anything at the end of the day. And we're not like, we can't help. Like, I for me is like, the thing that I kind of, or that we do as DJs, we help people escape reality by playing clubs, if you know what I mean. Like, when somebody's in a club, I want them to have the best experience ever, that they don't even worry about, they're not even thinking about all their worries that's going on in everyday life that we all have, right? I want them to literally turn up to a club and be like, oh my fucking God, what just happened?
Word, yeah, 100%.
And at the moment in time, we can't do that. So what can we do? We can kind of just like give back and just speak to people. And if people need shit, speak to them. Like, is what, for me, it's like, it's what I would want if I was them, if I was a fan, if that makes sense.
Honestly, it can make someone's day, just like, you know, just replying to someone, or just being nice in general. Like I'm nowhere near like anybody, like, but like some people, like, if anybody messages me, I make sure I'm like super nice, like maybe a bit too nice. And like sometimes people are just like, oh my God, I can't believe you replied. You know, just like, I didn't expect to find. It's like, it's just not, you know, it's just a message. Like, it can really make someone happy. I'm not saying that I'm famous or anything, but just be nice to anyone. You know, you never know how happy it can make someone feel.
Well, I think that's the thing, isn't it? Because realistically, it takes more time to be a dickhead. It takes more effort to be a dick in this life. And even if someone's being a dick, just leave it.
I really don't understand it, man. Like, I'm not obviously going to say names, but a couple a few years ago or a year ago, I used to message DJs, and like some of the responses were just so like cocky, and like the younger DJs. And I'm just like, what even is the point?
Yeah.
Like, it takes more energy doing that than just saying like, oh, thank you, kind of, just.
Yeah.
It's like, I just don't understand it, man. But it is what it is. Hopefully, people will learn. But
the one thing that does annoy me though is when people just send you like links in your DMs and be like, listen to this.
Oh my God, yeah, innit?
And I'm just like, I would just reply like, thanks. Or it's like, come on, just be
no personalization.
Yeah, be a little bit be a little bit human. Like, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
I tweeted this like about a month ago. I got sent an email, and it was a Spice Girls "Spice Up Your Life" remix.
Oh shit, not one of them. I've had a few of them.
It was actually like really bad.
Good. It's like bloody, what do you call it? Michael Bublé Tech House remix and all that stuff. I'm just like, shit. But you know what?
Kids love it.
Whatever floats the boat, man.
I can guarantee you that if somebody played that in a club, it would probably fucking slam. And
what an arse shit, probably.
Yeah, and I'll be in the corner of the club just crying my eyes out, being like, "Oh my God, it worked! I wouldn't ever want this to work, but it worked."
Now I'm hoping like that kind of stuff. Like I've got a prediction with like, no offense to anyone that makes that music, but I feel like if the clubs are not opening, and they won't be for a while, that is just kind of, it's just gonna fade away and kind
boring tech house.
Yeah, pretty much. Because I've got a lot of friends that make it, so I don't want to,
All of your friends, Tommy,
anyone,
they're not going to have a career.
All the kind of the student kind of vibes, but yeah, they all just make it. And I'm like, hopefully by when the clubs are back, because obviously it's just not thriving with no clubs open, is it? Nobody's going to kind of. It's just, I feel sorry for people who make it in this climax, because what is there to do with it? You can't listen in your bed and be like, yeah. But like, it's, but hopefully, without being bitchy, that kind of moves on when the clubs are open.
You're such a bitch, Tommy Farrow.
I hope no one's watching this that makes him. I don't know. It's just opinion, isn't it? It's just what you like and what you don't like. But
totally, and everyone's allowed your opinion. I think you're 100% right though. Like. And I don't think it's just boring tech house, if you know what I mean. I think there's a lot of... So I was talking to a mate on the phone the other night, and we were saying like how uninspiring that we find like house music right now. And it's kind of like, it's like... It's that splice sample... tech house or whatever, techno's the same in certain situations as well, and it's like there's a lot of putting together sounds. There's not a lot of music writing, there's not a lot of songwriting, there's not a lot of like, which at the end of the day we are in the sample business. Like house music is sample based, and it is about putting sounds together. Like some of the biggest house producers aren't the best musicians in the world, if you know what I mean. And I would not say I'm the best musician in the world, but I think for me, it's like, especially during lockdown, it's made me realize that I need to write more. Like, I just want to write something that people can listen to whilst they're having a shower or cooking their dinner, and then also it can fucking slam in a club. Or
if you get that mixture, it's so ideal, isn't it? That's what I always try and achieve.
That's what I kind of tried to do with "You Take Me Higher." I remember writing that like over a year ago, and just like was like, okay, today I need to write something with like chord progression and kind of get some melody back in my life, and it worked eventually. But I think that's the thing, is like, it takes much more time to write records like this. Like we can write a club record in like fucking 2 hours. It's easy, if you know what I mean. And that's just practice. And I know there's people out there like that, like it takes a long time, but it's just that vibe of we know what works in a club, and we can put sounds together, and it is what it is. But I think when you're writing an actual song with melody, it's like takes time, takes a lot longer.
It does.
What's your type of process when you're like in the studio?
To be fair with you, I always kind of look at inspiration and listen to like, because I love getting influences from the 90s era and the ravey kind of trancey era.
Yeah.
You're not
trance.
But yeah, and try and put it in a modern way. So obviously I listen to a lot just to kind of inspire me. And I always start with, obviously every single record I write's got a pad, as you probably know by now as well. And I always just try and I start the melody first, and then I have the pad behind it. And then after that, I actually try and find a vocal. Like vocal's one of the first things I always find. If I find a vocal that motivates me and I really I can just build a track around it straight away. But it's just trying to find that right vocal. And sometimes it takes hours. But like a vocal can really, really inspire me and just like make me finish a song in like a day.
No, I totally agree. Vocals are so hard to like come across.
Honestly, when I first started producing, I was like, I found loads and I was like, sick. And then it's like, after a while, it's like, Splice is just, I don't even use Splice anymore.
Yeah.
And like so many people use the same kind of vocals. And I don't know about you, but if I hear a vocal that I already know from Splice, I don't like the song as much. It ruins
it, doesn't it? Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like there's a sample pack. It's like a 90s. I forgot this. I think
You Take Me High, isn't it?
No, that's a diva one. But that's a 6 sample pack too. No, it's like warehouse rave. It's like a yellow kind of picture.
Yeah.
And so many people use vocals from it. And when I first started producing, I was like, yeah, these are sick, and I used them for a couple. And then I realized that so many people use them, and it's just like, for me, it kind of ruins the song only because I've heard it and I'm a producer. Yeah. Obviously, if I was like not a producer, I'd love it. But I don't know. For me, it's really important to find a vocal that's not been used.
Well, I think also it's about, at the end of the day, in like we were saying in house, like there's so many samples that are used on a daily basis. Like, but for me, it's about how you use it in a different way to everyone else, rather than just actually putting the vocal in and just not doing anything to it. Like the You Take Me Higher vocal, I pitched it down and kind of did a few things. But even like Let's Just, like that's a sample. We won't talk about where it's from, but it's a sample, but no one really
unrecognizable.
Exactly, and I think that's the thing. It's like you have to be a little bit adventurous when writing it. It's like we've all heard the same sample. We've all heard like Let No Man Put Us Under, but like a million times. Like that record has been sampled so many times. But it's like when Butch did No Worries. Like how he sampled that was just fucking genius.
So yeah, I feel like it can really take a producer to another level. If you're it's just creativity, isn't it? If you really do mix it up. And for example, like Forte, he samples so much like R&B and stuff, but it's unrecognizable.
Yeah.
But as soon as you go on, I forgot what that website is. What's that website?
Who sampled who?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And you go on Forte and it's like, what? There's like 20 tracks that he's like used like Brandy or like, and then when you actually compare it, because it says where they actually it's really cool. It says where actually from the YouTube video it is. And it's like, geez, that's so clever. Burial, for example, like he's just like the OG of
Burial, did you say?
That's it, Burial, yeah.
Dude, his stuff's insane.
It's just that just shows like I don't know how he's even that creative with his kind of samples. Like his main, I forgot what his main one's called, but it's from Ray J, like a famous Ray J song. And it's like, that's so sick, man.
Yeah,
like,
and
so
he can you remember the game Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah.
So he would like sample the like gun when the like guns would the bullets, the shells would like land on the floor. He sampled or like all the sounds from that, and you can hear it in his songs, and you're like, this is just genius. And he also didn't write on a grid, so like his first album wasn't on a grid, so it was like not 4/4, not in any time signature. It was just like it's wild.
Crazy, man.
I've always wanted
he's the coolest dude.
Yeah,
he's the coolest guy in the game by far.
And just doesn't.
I saw him like say something that it was like, I forgot along the lines, but it was like, artists, producers, like, it's like something about not posting all the time and stuff, you know, like
Yeah.
posting like, and it's like, it's so much sexier if you kind of just low key in the music game and just, you know, and for example, him, like, he's just like the coolest dude ever. And obviously he's not like, he hasn't got all Instagram and all that shit. So
I think there's two ways to look at it. Your
Mm.
music is either so unique and so amazing that you don't have to do anything else.
yeah,
Right.
so you don't have to sell yourself really.
And everyone else does it for you, and everyone else talks about you because you're so unbelievably good. Or you're not necessarily as good musically, but you give back a little bit more to the community, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And like personality is like really, it depends. Obviously now people don't look upon it, but like if you've got a good personality, like a, you know, for example, Fisher, if he wasn't a crazy kind of Australian funny guy, if he was just kind of boring and didn't say anything, he wouldn't be as successful as he is now.
Yeah.
So it is important to kind of have a really good. Well, it's not important, but it helps sometimes to have a good personality. And
well, it's
bad as it sounds, but
yeah, it's that mixture, isn't it? It's like what makes you you. And there's different things that make everybody them. And let's say, for instance, like Eric Prydz, right? Like he just makes fucking great records and puts on amazing shows. And obviously he did Cool on Me and Bajanu and kind of the more like accessible records back in the day, which kind of gave him the like step up. But he was never like one for social media, never one for like being in front of the public eye. He's pretty shy, if you know what I mean. He's a pretty shy guy.
Yeah.
But then puts on insane shows and has just kind of built a community around him that's massive. But then again, like on the let's use Fish for another example. Like his records have done extremely well, and he was obviously an extremely successful surfer beforehand and kind of was successful before, but he was doing Cut Snake for many years and then had his Fisher records and smashed it. And I think it's just there's like one goal, or like there's like not an end goal, but one goal that everyone's kind of working to, but it just goes to show that there's just different routes that people take to get there. And I think there's no set route, if you know what I mean. Like if you tried to be Fisher now, you'd look like a right dickhead, if you know what I mean, because it's just not you. And I think that's the thing where I think what a lot of younger people in the industry try and do is they try and be everybody else, because it's natural, right? When you first write a record, you try and copy your like favorite producers. Like when I first like not when I first started writing, but like Breach is one of my favorite producers. Absolutely love what he does. And I just tried to write Breach records.
Yeah, and then I'm a sucker for that. It does help though a lot, you know, when you've got inspiration. It is important. Like I was inspired by quite a few things, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have made it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it does help a lot. In that perspective.
I agree. Who do you look for like inspiration?
At the minute, my number one is a Jekka. Like I'm obsessed with him, man. Like
I should have surprised you and brought him on. You'd have shot your load.
Hey guys.
Be wiping the camera.
I'm like the biggest fanboy of a Jekka, but like I think even him, he's like really cool because he doesn't kind of post, you know, it's not about his personality at all.
Yeah.
He literally just lets the music do the talking. And like I think since like, well, one of my favorite records, he mixed Cassius. It was about 2 years ago, and I was in H&M in Sheffield just doing my shopping, and I heard it and I was like, this is really cool for H&M. And that track, I say it now, but that I show everyone my favorite music. Like, you know, as soon as I find a good record, I will send it to so many people. That track is the only track I've ever heard where I keep it to myself.
Really?
So I'll let you have it now. But because it's a reference track to Let's Just, so it's kind of like I kind of didn't want to, but it is just the best track ever. So it's a Jekka remix of Cassius. It's called Go Up. It's got like Farrow and stuff, but it is just unbelievable.
It's not trance. Like, it's a Jekka, not trance.
Jekka, yeah. It came out, I think, maybe 3 years ago. It was like my first year of uni, and I just heard it, and I was still into like back then Tech House was massive, so it's like
yeah.
Salado, Patrick Toppin. But I heard this and I was like, it's proper breakbeat, and it's got like the amazing pads that he uses, and then it goes from like a piano riff, but just like in the background, like it's nothing too big, and then it kind of fades away, and it kind of fades over the pad, and then like this awesome trancey kind of like melody comes in, and on the breakdown, but it's not too much. It's just like do 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 do, and then like it builds up, and then it just drops into the piano fully, and I'm just like, oh, this is just amazing. And the break drums are so good in that track. So that's where I got the inspiration from. That's just from. I use it as like a reference track.
Yeah.
But like one track that I refuse to show anyone. So if anyone's listening, you're
game over now. Everyone's going to listen to it now. I want you to know your trick.
It's an incredible record. Like 3 years on, I still listen to it and just go like, wow. And the thing is, it's like on YouTube, it's got 1,000 plays.
No
That's
way.
like the most plays it's got, and that's why I treasure it so much.
Yeah.
Because it's.
Do you play it out?
I played it in my Brixton set last weekend for the first time ever, because I had my second from last track was Let's Just, and I was like, I don't want to end on that because it's just too obvious.
You should have.
Like no, because it was just like it was my second from last one, and I was like, I want to put one more in that's like, because obviously when I play Let's Just, I reckon people are like, oh, this is the closing one, and then I mixed in another break, and people were like, oh shit, this guy knows what he's doing, and I actually saw a few faces like, okay. And then it ended with this piano, and it was gorgeous scenes, man. That was the first time I've actually played it. Because I've struggled to actually find the right environment to play it. Because my residency in Sheffield is quite a student night based.
Yeah.
So I can't really play like cool tracks like that, because it's kind of based as a student night, and everyone just kind of wants like, put your hands up for Detroit. No, not that bad. But
classic. That's a classic.
Like you come, like you got to mix out with.
See, when I was in Ibiza, when I used to live in Ibiza, that was the record that like got big then.
Really?
Yeah, it was like one of the big, like the first. I think I was like 16.
It is a low key banger, when it drops. It's like it's not the worst of songs. It's pretty cool. But
Fedde Legrand back in the day, man.
Oh yeah, but yeah, coming on to a Jekyll, because I actually still want to speak about him. He's such a don, man. However, he's ignored about 5 of my messages. So if he's listening,
we'll get him on.
Well, I've got his email, but I'm waiting because I've sent him about 5 Instagram messages, and he just reads them and doesn't reply. But I've got his email now, so I'm waiting for like the right itinerary to just bomb him with some trancey goodness. But,
it's so funny that. It's so funny when you just like. I get it with mates on Instagram when they're DM you, and then you're like respond, and then there's nothing. It's like crickets in the background.
Tumbleweed.
Yeah, and you're just like, all right, mate, chill out. Oh, good times.
Them mates annoy me though, when like they just never reply. It's like, dude, come on.
Yeah, one of my best mates from school, like he's actually the worst, and he always has been. Like even in the room, like. You'd be talking to him, and then he'd just go quiet and just completely ignore you. You're like, mate, you're right over there.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I said I went to Brixton on the weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with London, but girls there are crazy, man. They were fucking mad, honestly. But it was one. I went to this pub after. It was sick in Shoreditch. And there was like this table tennis, and all my mates from the gig went, and then we kind of met a few girls. But I knew one from like, I hope she's not watching this. But I knew one. I knew one from Ibiza, and she was just chatting to me, and I was obviously on a bit of a wave. And there was table tennis in front of us. My mate was playing, so I was just sat there, just like gorming into it because I love table tennis. She was chatting to me about how she knows one of my mates, and I was just there like, bro, she kicked off so bad, like shouting at me, and literally she made like everyone leave the pub, and I was like, I'm only watching table tennis, man. Like, chill out. But you just gorming, like I was just like, and then she just, oh my god.
I can't say I can relate that I like will ignore someone for table tennis, but I respect that.
No, I swear I didn't, unless I was drunk, but I wasn't that bad. But like, I swear I didn't ignore her for that long. Like, she was just telling me. But when someone's talking, you just kind of just like just let them talk. And I was just like, next thing I know, Oh, fucking hell, man!
Right hook in the side of the cheek.
And then I had a few messages from like my friends the next day, like, "Oh, I heard about you and so," and I was like, "What? I've not even thought about it since." And like, leave me.
You're still thinking about table tennis, aren't you?
Bro, I love table tennis. So I've done it in GCSE. I'm a bit of a don with it.
Are you good?
I'm sick. I was good, right? Because it started off. When you used to go on holiday and you used to have them games that everyone used to play.
Yeah.
Like used to do like activities.
Yeah.
And I used to win every single time, like against full-grown adults. And I was like 10, and I was beating like 40-year-olds. And I was just like, honestly, I was so sick. And then I'd done it in GCSE, and my man, the PE teacher, was like, "Oh, you've got to do this. You've got to serve it. You've got to like throw it up and then hit it." And I was like, "Well, this is shit." So then I weren't as good as I thought I was. It's like, there's all these stupid rules where, I weren't happy with it when I actually realised how to play properly.
So do you play properly now, or do you play like an amateur?
I haven't played since GCSE.
What? So you didn't play on the weekend?
No, there's too many hot girls. I didn't want to embarrass myself, man. I was just chilling because I know I'd get really competitive, and I was just chilling in the corner. Well, I was chilling until that happened. But yeah,
crazy women.
It was funny though, man.
Adds a bit of spice to the life. Ibiza. You lived in Ibiza for a bit, right?
Yeah, 2 seasons. Yeah.
What were you doing out there?
Oh man, I got some funny stories. So first year was freaking hard, man. Like I went out, I didn't actually know anybody. Like I didn't know, and like I'm not even
the best way.
But it is the best way, isn't it? Because and I got this flat, right? I got sold this penthouse, and I was like, "This is gonna be dope." It's gonna go down here.
Was it on the West End?
It is literally on the West
End. No. So for anybody that doesn't know what the West End in Ibiza is, the West End is like the place where all the Brits go to just get absolutely hammered. The clubs are pretty awful. Or they're not really clubs, they're bars. There's like all the strip joints. It's just disgusting. And there's like this awful smell that you get from the street.
As soon as you mentioned the West End, I had that sense.
We all know the smell of the West End.
Away.
It's like puke and piss and alcohol. And they sell like vodka Red Bulls in like pint glasses. And it's disgusting. But yeah, anyway, carry on with your penthouse story.
Oh God. So I got sold this penthouse, and obviously I was really new and like naive and everything. So, and it's really hard to get accommodation in Ibiza because everybody wants to go. And I saw this place, and I was like, when you know it's in demand, you kind of just don't think. And I was like, I just want it, because it was March and it was getting really close, and I was like, shit, I just need to get something. But it was like this amazing penthouse just next on West End. It was like 15 floors up. It weren't just like a 3-floor thing. It was like a big thing.
Were you in Motor Lewis?
No. And then anyway, so I got this thing. It was $400 a month, so it wasn't that bad.
That's pretty cheap.
$425 a month. $425.
Pretty cheap for a penthouse.
But you'll realise why it's cheap in a minute. Anyway, so the guy's cool, blah blah blah, and it's only made. I hope he's not watching this as well. Fuck it. But it's only made for 5 people, right? It was an old Chinese. So there's 1 room and then 2 rooms. So yeah, so 2, 2, and 1. My man had 15 people living in it.
No way.
Bro, he ain't gonna watch this. But he charged people £300 a month to sleep on the terrace in a tent. And they weren't, you can imagine the type of people they were as well. Oh my God. So it wasn't bad because I met this guy, and I'm really good friends with him now. Like we're like really close. He's like double my age, but obviously that doesn't matter. But in our beef, it doesn't matter at all. And he's Scottish, and he was the funniest like he's the only person that kept me in that flat. And I shared a room with him. There was like 3 of us in this tiny room.
Yeah.
And like he's just the funniest guy. And he kind of made me just stay there the whole season. But like there was just so much drama. You can imagine with that many people in that space. Like there were some nice girls that come in, but they only lasted like a month. But like there was just so much drama. And there was one dude, and it was horrible because I used to come in and like there was like 2 people sleeping on like the couch, like in the living room, when you have to be quiet and stuff. And I was like, God. So there's this dude, right? And oh my God, he was Australian. And I think he lost his job, right? And he started losing the plot like majorly because he was just getting like pissed like every night, like really badly. And he was like pissing off everybody. And there was one night, oh my God, there's this one night, he kept talking about my sister all the time. And I was like, at first, I was like, whatever, I get that a lot. I don't care.
Is your sister hot?
Shut up. Anyway, so then he kept going on about it. And I was like, all right, you're pissing me off now. And then it was like midnight. And I went to get a snack out the fridge, just doing my thing. And then he's there with a bottle of wine, like, and then I was like, fucking here we go. And he kept talking about my sister again. And I was like, say it one more time, I'm going to hit you. Because I was getting pissed off. I wasn't going to hit him. So he come over and he was like drunk as fuck. And he was like giving me like a big hug. Anyway, I launched the dude, right? And it didn't take much. He was pissed, but he went flying. And he knocked down all the plates with him, like in the kitchen. So they all smashed. And I was like, oh shit, he's not good. And I just saw him like slowly get up from the floor, like his face was just not good. And I was like, oh, here we go. He picked up a knife from the kitchen.
No way.
And I was trapped in the corner because there's like a bar and like the shelf, and I was trapped in like the corner. And he had this knife, and I was like, fuck, I'm about to die, and I beat him, man. But you know what? It's not the worst of places. And he come closer, and he was like, you're lucky I'm in a good mood. He just dropped it. And I was like, shit, I just escaped death. And then later on that night, he got knocked out by one of the girls. And he actually got knocked out. Some girl karate kicked him and he was cold. It was the funniest shit I've seen in my life.
Oh, so, yeah, man, I love Ibiza stories. I love Ibiza.
That was just every night there was something stupid, man. And like he used to like, you know the canisters that you get for like NOS?
Yeah. That's obviously laughing gas, people, if anyone doesn't know.
And obviously in Ibiza you get lightning quite a lot because of how, you know, how hot it is. And he used to just stand on the edge of like the balcony, 15 floors up with a little like canister when it was lightning. Like he wanted to get like electrocuted.
What?
And he wanted to hit him. And I was like, I need to get back to England ASAP. This is too weird. But it was funny, man. You know, Ibiza's Ibiza. It's what you make of it. Like that, yeah. And I lasted the whole 5 months there.
Honestly, like I literally had the best time of my life when I used to live out there.
So awesome, man.
Like it was just the lows are very fucking low and the highs are very high. Like you can have it can all happen in one day. You can have the worst day of your life and the best day of your life in one day, and it's just
all your troubles are just like you said. You get lows, but you just shrug them off like because it's just so good.
Or just everyone's partying and everyone's just having fun.
And it's just the view, it's just the sun, it's the sunset, the sea. It's just good for you, your mental health. Like it's so kind of soothing. But another funny story. This is something because for work, I was struggling for the first month, and it was so hard, like getting work out there. Because I got there in June as well. You're supposed to get there for like May, aren't you?
Yeah.
So what was my first job? I think.
Selling tickets.
My mate was unemployed.
That
was my second one.
Selling tickets for Pucker Up boat parties.
No, I didn't go that low, man. I didn't go that low. But so me and my mate were unemployed for like a month, and it was actually shit because all my mates were getting these amazing jobs, and I was just there. Like, and when you're unemployed in Ibiza, everybody says the same thing. You think it's fun, but after like 2 weeks and you're doing nothing, you've got no routine.
Yeah,
you're partying like most nights, and you're getting up at like 1-2 o'clock. You just feel shit.
Yeah,
it's like you need a routine when you go out there. And it's so funny. So my first job, believe it or not, I went straight in the deep end and worked at Cafe Mambo.
Oh, dope! What were you doing?
I lied about my waitering experience. I've never been a waiter in my life. And I was lied about, I can wait, blah, blah, blah. And it was a week before big Radio 1 weekend. So it was like so busy. Oh, no, it was July. And then, it was somewhere around there. Because I remember I was looking forward to Radio 1 weekend. And then like, oh my God, I'll never forget that job. It was like, I didn't know how hard it was to hold a tray, drinks. Like, I've never done it in my life. But I was like, oh, come on, it can't be that. All you got to do is balance it. It was horrific. My first, I served this couple. All it was orange juice and Coca-Cola, and I dropped it straight away on her lap. And I just froze, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And she was just like, "Are you going to get a tissue then?" but I literally just froze. I was like, yeah, I'll get a tissue ASAP. And then I kept dropping them. And you know, Cafe Mambo is like the most like
in San Antonio,
highest play. Yeah, all like the top dogs, like Steve Aoki's always there, MK. And I'm like, fucking hell, like there's me dropping cans of beer everywhere and stuff. And like,
did you get sacked?
I remember there was I lasted a week, which I thought was really good for me. Like, because I remember like the 6th day, I was like, I heard about people getting sacked and that, and I was like, how am I not been sacked yet? I was like, I must be doing quite good because I was actually learning. I was like, I started really bad and then I was getting quite good. And it was a tough job, man.
Who sacked you?
What's his name?
Was it Johnny?
No, not Johnny. Alex, I think.
Okay, yeah.
He's English. But yeah, it was. I don't know how to do it because it was 9 hours a day, 6 days a week, and like you used to have to carry like 10 bottles at a time. And my wrists were in agony at the end of the shift. Like I'm talking, like I couldn't get to sleep sometimes. It was that painful.
Need to up your wanking game, mate.
Honestly, it helped, but it was just like, Jesus. I was like, but there was some horrific stories. I remember like there was like a hen do of 10 people and I had like 10 drinks. The feeling of dropping them drinks next to a group of 10 when it was rammed and everybody heard the smash glass. Your heart literally goes down to your balls. And I was like, fuck.
Did you drop them?
Like, I actually wanted to cry at every shift.
Did you drop them?
Yeah, mate, that was just one of many times. I must have wasted about 200. Nah.
How?
Mambo's price. I bet I wasted about 300 euros worth of drinks.
Jesus.
Because it's stupid, the layout. They have like these little like lights on the ground, like a little mold on the ground. So dangerous. So I'd be
just trip over
like
them.
10 bottles and I'd just go, it just go everywhere. And one time the bouncer actually knocked into me and that was bad. That smashed them all. But yeah, anyway, I got sacked from that job. But I got a decent wage. I got like 400 for the week. So I lived off that for like the rest of the month. Really.
They pay all right. They work you hard, but they pay all right for like.
Yeah, it was like with the bonuses, the tips are really good. Like alone a month for like 700 euro.
Yeah.
And then plus like 1,600. So you're coming home with like, 2,300 a month, which is really good. Like a lot of people that work there just work their asses off and then just go traveling after.
That's generally what happens in Ibiza. The people that not like, like West End kind of in ticket sellers. It's people that actually have a proper job out there. They generally work for like solidly for like 6 months or 5 months and then just go to like Southeast Asia and just travel for the winter and then just go back. And it was kind of like the Ibiza thing to do. It is good fun. Did you ever play out there much?
Oh my God. I've got so many funny stories. Like the first time I played was horrific. It was like a place called Code. No, not Code. That was the name of the night. It was, what's it called? It's it's quite a popular bar in West End. I forgot what it's called now. Anyway, but like this was like 3 years ago. So this is when I kind of like, I didn't take DJing that seriously. And like I had a residency and stuff, but like by this time when I was DJing, when I had this gig, it was like 4 months without playing because I don't have decks at home. And I got all my mates to go there. I was like, I had like a few of them, like some top dogs go there that I've met at like the Solid Grooves party. And really nice. So like, we'll come, we'll bring everyone. And they were like the shittest decks. They were like 900s or something. And I just went on and I couldn't mix.
Train wrecking.
It was horrific. I was just like, it was so embarrassing. Like, I would never fit. It was the worst night of my life, I think. And I was just like, I was so embarrassed. And then something else happened that night. It's a bit too private. And it was just the worst night of my life. It was involved with a girl. But it was always the worst night of my life, man. So yeah, but that was, and then after that, I didn't play once in Ibiza. I was scarred for life. I was like, when you just have like a really shit set, and I was like, I don't want to do it again. So I just thought, I just leave it. It's too much stress for what I've already got at the minute because I was still unemployed. But then last year I had like a residency at Ibiza Rocks Bar. I played at like Sankey's. The toilet raves was so sick at Sankey's. It's called Octane now.
Yeah.
I played there like every week and they went off so much. Like, because in the main room it was like Apollinia, however you say it. And it was like, it was quite like, I don't know, they're quite like minimal. And like, so it was like, but it was really minimal. It's like nothing changes at all. So like in the toilets, it's run by like this like gay community called like UK Hum.
Yeah.
And they just smash it out the park. It was
Really?
like there was no bouncers or anything, so everyone could do what they wanted in there.
Yeah.
And like there was people just dancing like all on the sinks, like hot like birds just like dancing everywhere. And everyone just went mental over it. Like, and the music, they wanted just like really cool house. Like I played like Detroit Swindle and like, you know, kind of like everything. Like it was a bit like a mall grab set. It was just like disco, techno. And it was just like, it was one of the funniest sets I've done because everybody's just like, because, you know, when you go for a piss, you just expect to go for a piss and then that's it.
Yeah,
when you walk into the toilet and everybody's having it off, you're like, mate, this is sick.
Yeah.
And people just staying there for like the whole night. Like they used to love it so much.
Yeah, that's
so
the best.
That was definitely one of the highlights last year.
So the best thing about Ibiza is that you can kind of do parties like that, and there's just parties everywhere. So like eventually you're gonna kind of come across somewhere that's really fucking good, and you're like, I'm staying. This is me for the night. It's great. I miss it so much.
Like everybody's in like the best mood in them toilets because it's so enclosed. Everybody's just like shoulder to shoulder, just like on. I don't know what it is about a toilet, but everybody's just so happy when they're raving in them. I think it's just because it's so unique.
Yeah, you don't get it anywhere else. Because it started at Privilege Manumission years ago, and they used to have a DJ in the toilet there, and then it didn't happen for years in Ibiza, and then I think High was the next club to do it, which used to be Space, and then a load of other people started kind of jumping on it, and it's fucking great. It's because it's always small, isn't it? Toilets are never massive, so there's like it's like never this like it's not like a big club where it's not that intimate. It's like a proper intimate sweat box.
Yeah, they do work really well. Like I remember, like at High, people just stay in them the whole time.
Yeah,
I don't actually know what it is. I think it's just because it's so unique. People are just so like happy about it, and like I said, it's quite an intimate space. So I think people like that compared to especially compared to High when it's just massive.
Yeah,
and when you contrast from that the toilets, it's just like people just love it.
Right. Also, I think you've got the DJs like especially you have like bigger artists playing in the toilets. You kind of get that experience that you're never gonna get as like a club goer. It's like, when was the last time you saw like, I don't know.
It was like MK back to back Idris Elba in the toilet. Yeah, it's like what? That's crazy.
When's that ever gonna happen in your life that in a 50 cap room that you're ever gonna see that?
Yeah,
it's never gonna happen. So I think it's just these like special experiences that people enjoy, and I much prefer playing in like things like that when you can just tell everyone there is just fucking having it, and like
you can see the reaction so much better, can't you?
Yeah, definitely. I much prefer that.
So
do you reckon you're gonna go back out when Rona fucks off?
Well, I was planning on. I have a holiday booked for beginning of October, but like I have a few mates out there, and they're just saying that everything's closing now. Like hotels are closing for good, so like nothing's open. So I'm not going this year, but I don't know. Next year I want to go, but I'm hoping to be at a stage of my music where like maybe I just don't need to go anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like so I can just focus on studio and stuff. And fingers crossed, if clubs are kind of back open by next summer, then hopefully I'll just be, you know, going to hopefully getting booked for gigs.
Play a few shows.
And I reckon if I was to go Ibiza, it'd just be difficult to kind of do gigs throughout summer. Do you know what I mean? So it just depends on the circumstances.
Yeah, I think we had the conversation.
I
think we had the conversation.
Yeah, we
didn't we? Like, for me, when I was living in Ibiza, I had to like get out of Ibiza and get out of being the resident DJ and kind of like step out of that to like then take my career to the next level. Just purely because, like, no disrespect, I've got a lot of mates that were residents in Ibiza, but you're just a resident, and there's no real. You don't really go any further. At all. I guess like Andre Oliver is like, he was a resident at Ants, but it was kind of his night, and that's kind of built him up. But it was a huge night, and he's also a great producer and tours around the rest of the world. But there isn't anyone really else that has kind of out of a residency built this amazing fan base and kind of tours the rest of the world, really. I just think it's just key to just concentrate on writing your music, because your music's going to be the one that actually gets you the gigs in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I feel beef is like a short-term thing. You know, you just enjoy a minute, and you're loving the present time. But like you said, if you write in music, that's what's going to be the long term. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like anything. Like, you can go out there and have fun, but once the season's over, it's like, you know, I could have spent this time making some really good music that would get me even further. So yeah, you are right with that.
It's so hard to write music out there as well.
It is, man. It's so, everybody always thinks they can.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, you're not going to party every night, are you? But like the night's off, you just want to go to bed, or you just want to chill, and like you're not in the right frame of mind when you're out there to make music.
It's always hard.
You're inspired a lot. You're inspired a lot, obviously. But I used to, because when I was producing out there, I used to just, my apartment was horrible. It's like there was no aircon whatsoever.
Yeah.
My beds were always just like sweaty and horrible, and I was like just laying on my belly on my laptop, just making music, and I was like, this is not healthy to be doing it like this.
It's not good. It's not good at all. I remember I used to drive out there.
Really?
Yeah, and I took like monitor speakers out.
A few people do that.
And I like set it up as like a bedroom studio, and I literally probably turned it on like 4 times.
Really?
Throughout a whole summer. It's just like,
so even if you have like a bedroom studio, it's still like not really.
Well, I think the thing is in Ibiza, if you want to actually earn money, you have to work a lot. And if you want to earn good money, you're working 7 days a week. And I think like producing, you need a routine where you're like, even if you work full time when you're producing, you're full time like in normal life is like 9 to 5, if you know what I mean, which is fine. And then you have like get home, have dinner, and you can get in the studio for like 3 hours. Whereas working full time in Ibiza is working 7 days a week, 12 to 16 hours a day, no time off. And you're just like, that's what I was doing. Some days I was doing like 20-hour shifts, like just working, like doing 2 jobs. And you're just like, you can't get creative in that kind of mindset.
The sun is so draining as well. I think the difference of here in Ibiza, it's like when it's so hot, and even at night when it's like 30 degrees, it's like just so hot, isn't it? What jobs did you do out there, then?
So I moved there when my first season was when I was 17.
That's young.
But I only did like 2 months out there then. I think I just saved up. I saved up 2 months of money. And was just like, look, I'm just going to go out and see what I can do. And I played a few times at Orange Corner, which was next to Ibiza Rocks Cafe.
Yeah, I remember you saying, yeah.
But Orange Corner was like the place to go then. Like you used to have like raves all day long there. And you used to get to the point where you couldn't even get to the decks because there were so many people like partying. It was mental.
Yeah.
And I used to play in Hush a couple of times as well, when Hush was kind of like a dope place to go.
Was Hush because it's moved a few. Was Hush like just off the West End?
Yeah, Hush used to be on the corner.
It used to be really cool, apparently.
Used to be fucking amazing, mate. Like it was the first workers bar. So what would happen? It would go on to like 6, 7, 8 in the morning, and everyone would all the workers would finish their work in the West End or like a Cafe Mamba and just end up there. So it was mental, like every night.
Yeah, I've been told that because it closed down because of the whole law thing, the whole 3 o'clock thing. But I've been told like that used to be like the place.
Yeah,
for workers, there's just nothing like that anymore. It's so annoying.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. But yeah, so I was there when I was 17, and then I was also living in an apartment with. There was a couple in the bedroom, and then in the lounge was me on the floor, and then there was a girl, like a French girl that was traveling, and then there was a bouncer. There was a bouncer at Eden, and so there was like 5 of us in like a tiny 1-bedroom apartment. And then the next year, I just kind of like made some contacts, and the next year I was planning on going, and then I got a call offering me to be a resident at Orange Corner. because the guy that was resident wasn't. He was working for like Tool Room or something like that. So yeah, I was super lucky that my first job was actually a residency out there.
That's dope.
And then
it's hard to get, isn't it?
Yeah, and 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. So I'd get there for 1 or 12 in the afternoon, like 12 in the afternoon, and then I'd play 12 till 7 or 12 till 6, and then have an hour off, and then come back 8 till 1. But I was also
was this DJing?
Yeah.
You DJ for that long?
Yeah, every day.
Every day? Yeah. What?
And then I'd
get sick of it.
I'd also book like other people to play. So we did like a couple of like guest spots and things like that. But I was also like the PR manager at the time. So I would like, like for anybody that doesn't know, a lot of like restaurants and stuff sell tickets to clubs. And that was like in the days where it was like everyone was selling tickets to clubs. So my best mate was living with me out there at the time, and he was like selling tickets at the front of the Orange Corner. So we were just like working all the time, but it was great.
This sounds dope, man.
Mate,
that sounds really good.
It was so
I can't
good.
believe you DJ for that long though.
Yeah,
like every day. That just drive me crazy.
And then I got the next year. I was doing the residency, and then I got a job at Kenya. Kenya asked me to be the resident there. So I moved over to there. And also that's when I started doing like production work, where I started recording DJ sets for like BBC and other radio stations with Tom Brown, who I had on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, my day would be, I'd wake up, drive to Kenya, play. It was pretty much the same, start at 12 till 6. And then you'd have to be back for sunset, because it was it's a sunset bar. So then you'd play sunset and play till 12. And sometimes there used to be like 1830s parties after that. So that would be like till like 2, like 12 till 2. And you just have a bunch of fucking 18 to 30-year-olds getting hammered and fingered on the dance floor.
Wasted.
Yeah. And
I've been told that Kenya used to be like the place. Like, they used to have like really cool pool parties and stuff.
But like before I was there, it used to be the place. When I was there, it was kind of Mambo had kind of taken over massively.
Oh, really?
But we did occasionally have like a couple times a week, we'd have some like crazy parties in the day.
Yeah.
And then after my Kenya, I would then go straight to a club. So I'd go straight to Space or straight to Amnesia or whatever, and then record sets in Amnesia. Mate, I remember, oh my God, this was what I was playing. I wasn't playing. I was recording a set at Privilege, and what we'd have to do is we'd have to go in and put the cables in the back of the mixer.
Right.
Which is always the worst thing when someone's DJing.
Yeah.
Privilege, full club.
What?
I fucking turned the mixer off by accident. No. Literally, the whole system went dead. But they got like the biggest reaction ever. Like it just went mental.
Yeah. Because I've had that in my residencies when I've like, I don't even know why, someone stopped it or whatever. And like when you turn the music back on, you get the biggest roar. And it's kind of like, shit, I might do that more often.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good.
I can't remember who it was, but it was like one of like the OG guys. Yeah. It was like Roger Sanchez or something like that. And he was like always, I think it was an interview that anyway, can't remember who it was. And they were like, sometimes the best thing to restart a night and restart a vibe is just act like the power just went out and just turn the music off.
Yeah, it gets everyone.
And then you just like completely reset your set, and you just like for me when I DJ in especially like a festival set or something like that, I like make like an intro track. So it like completely, I'm not like mixing into what the DJ beforehand was playing. And it can be a bit like egotistical, but it's like, no, this is what I'm doing. And this is like how I'm going to start my set.
It kind of resets it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I do like it when artists do that.
Yeah, I think
so it kind of just starts with like pads or something and like kind of works its way up. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I I used to have this intro song. Oh my god, this would be funny. This is a good story. I don't think we didn't know each other then.
Yeah.
So, like how like sirens in like house music is like, or like rave music is like the thing.
Yeah.
So I made this like record that has like an intro of like a minute of like sirens.
Right.
And it's fucking loud and like it's proper in your face. So I was playing at Cross Festival and I was like second from headlining, and Dusky were playing after me.
Sick.
So I played the siren record, and it's like a minute of sirens right before, and then it just like goes into this massive. I'll send it to you. It goes into this.
So is this to start off your set? Yeah.
This is start the set. Anyway, It always works. It always goes down. Like a day later, on Twitter, someone was like, "I can't believe you played sirens for that long. Like it made me like it triggered me." And I didn't think anything of it. Like I was like, I thought he was generally just like pissing about and like taking a piss. I was like, "Sorry, mate. I'm sure you'll get over it." Mate, like for like a good 24 hours, there were like people fighting on Twitter the fact that like either trying to defend me or say that I was irresponsible for playing sirens. I'm just like, what the fuck? It was hilarious. And now I just get loads of people just take the piss out of me and like, you're going to play the sirens again.
So you've not played it?
No, I always play it. I always play it. It was just like, I was like, dude, just stop taking so much acid and chill out.
I don't get why people care so much about shit like that. Like, I don't get it. And they just like have to say something online. It's just like everyone to themselves.
I think this sounds awful, and I'm not kind of bad mouthing anyone, but it's a very American thing. I think in the UK people kind of just keep themselves to themselves a little bit more. Although the UK is turning more and more like America in kind of online stuff, but I think it's an American festival. It's one of my favorite festivals actually ever to play, but it's California kind of people are a lot more like open to share their feelings online and kind of just how it is. Just gotta laugh, mate.
I remember you saying that you prefer living in the UK to America. Does that still stand?
Yeah, man, I live in the middle of fucking nowhere.
It does look sick.
There's no neighbours. It's like I've got my family around here. Green fields, like it's fucking great.
So I can tell that you just love that kind of scenery anyway. So it helps. But yeah, it does look sick. Some of the walks you're doing that, I'm like, is he even in England right now? Like, it just looks crazy.
Yeah, like I'm lucky. The only like. Yeah, I just want to build a house in the middle of nowhere and just not have to see anyone. It sounds like really like considering we're like DJs and like we're sociable in DJs, but like when I'm not DJing, I kind of like insular and just kind of want to like, I don't know. I do actually really like living in America, and I'm kind of getting a bit of an itch to go back to a certain extent, but when I go back to Detroit, as much as I love Detroit, I have this like love-hate relationship with Detroit where it's like, it's kind of sad where it's like such a like trodden down city. And as much as it's like, it's kind of being revamped, it's still pretty depressing when you're just like, this shouldn't, like nowhere should be like this, if you know what I mean, especially in the Western world. It's pretty sad, but the people
of places are like run down and stuff.
Very, yeah.
Really?
But also, you're just like, this shouldn't happen. This shouldn't be happening in like anywhere in this world. Like kids shouldn't be starving, if you know what I mean. Like people shouldn't be dying when we live in such a throwaway society. It's just bullshit. But
it's crazy, isn't it? It kind of makes you realize how lucky we are as well.
We're so lucky.
Our troubles, our day-to-day troubles, is nothing compared to these type of people. Like me just getting annoyed over, I can't make music for the day, like really good stuff. But like, you know what I mean? People are like starving, like you said. So just it makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's we live in England is actually, as much as people talk shit on it, it's actually a fucking great country, and we get so much given to us that we take for granted, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, just like we have the right to healthcare.
I know.
Like,
it's crazy, that is,
we
man.
can go to the doctors whenever we want, and we can guarantee, well, not guarantee, but if you have a car accident, if you have a heart attack, whatever, you pretty much guaranteed that you could be made better and for free.
That is just crazy. You have to pay for it over there, isn't it?
You got to pay for it in most
Can't
countries.
get my head around that.
Nearly every
mad.
country in the world, you have to. It's just ours don't, and people take it for granted here and kind of bitch about it. But we're so fucking lucky.
Yeah. It's another thing with America, like why I just think everything just seems, especially at the minute, everything's just so crazy with, like, you know, with Trump, which hopefully he gets kicked out, but like just all like the, you know, what's been going on in the news basically, it's just like, it just seems crazy. Like England's not like that at the minute anyway, from what I've gathered.
Nothing like it. Nothing like it.
I think it's just because it's so big as well, isn't it? Like, you know, it's just huge compared to us.
Yeah, it's like 350 million people. You're just like, it's wild. You can't not control's not the right word, but you can't, there's so many different types of people that are from different cultures and different backgrounds and everything. And you can't please everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everyone's so diverse, aren't they?
Yeah, and like here,
I feel like,
go on, carry on.
I just feel like with Americans, they're just so extra anyway. Like, you know, they're just like...
Sorry, America.
So, yeah, I feel like they're, you know, they're very opinionated and they're just quite, no offense, they're just a bit more, they've got a lot more personality and a bit more, you know, I don't know. That's what kind of what I've got when I go over there.
Passion, mate, it's that patriotism and passion is kind of like, it's weird because, like, I'll tell you how I feel, like, pretty, but there is like, it's just not, we're just not used to it in the English culture. If you know what I mean. Like, if you're a dick, someone will tell you that you're being a dick, but then also if they really like you, they're going to tell you that they really like you. And it's like, it's just,
it's black and white, isn't it?
It's just like turned up to like 11, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I kind of like it as well. I do like the culture in America. There's a lot of opportunity to kind of be successful if you're willing to work for it. Whereas I think here in the UK, a lot more people want to be given everything, rather than realize that they have to fucking work for it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does 100%. So do you see yourself staying based in England now for like your kind of career, or what, have you any ideas?
Man, I've got to fucking get booked in England first.
Yeah, I don't doubt you will when the clubs are back open. That's just
I don't know. Like, most of my work is in America, so I'm probably gonna have to go back there. Don't get me wrong. Eventually I'd love to be playing more worldwide and a lot more over in the UK and in Europe. That is the plan. But hey, we can only control that to a certain amount. And at the end of the day, like, if America is where it is, America's where it is for me. But there's plans in place with like my teams to kind of start moving more things to the UK, and that doesn't mean that I'm like abandoning America, because I absolutely love playing out there. I have so much fun, but for me it's just, I just want to kind of like spread my wings a little bit and have the opportunity for people to hear me play in different places in the world. The thing with America, it's so big that you can literally just tour America all year, and it's so big. There's so many fucking cities. So you can kind of get into this bubble where you're just playing. Like last year, I didn't play anywhere else apart from America.
It's crazy. It just shows how big it is, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's mad.
Like I thought a couple of times of like, obviously the same as myself, it's really bad timing with the whole COVID thing and Let's Just coming out. But with you especially, I feel like you were completely going in the right way with, with the UK. Like, as soon as you take me higher, and obviously you got Hallelujah. I feel like like people here love that shit, and it's like you were going in such a, it was going to happen, but it's just such like myself, it's just such shit timing, isn't it? But
I think,
come,
I totally agree. I think the thing that I'm lucky with is that I have like a bit of a following in different countries. Like I have a following in America. So although, clubs are closed and they're shit, fingers crossed, like when the clubs open up again, I'll start getting bookings, and kind of not really worried about that. It's something that crosses your mind. But yeah, it's tough. I feel sorry for the people that have had big records during this time, and it's their first big record. And it's like, it's like, I don't know what's going to happen when the clubs open again. Are people going to be playing the big records, or are people going to be?
I always wonder. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think, like, I got my next record coming out in October, and I'm like, are people going to be playing that when the clubs open again? I don't know.
It is hard, isn't it? Because I think that I'm like, are people going to forget it in a year's time, or like, I don't know. Time will tell, won't it?
How was the social? Go on.
Well, no, yeah, I feel like if they're good enough, people will play them.
Yeah.
People will want to see how the crowd reacts.
Definitely.
What was you saying?
How was the social distancing gig?
Really fun. Like, honestly, it was really, I want to start doing them more. It was like, because the venue was really cool. It was like, you had the courtyard and then the beach. It was at Brixton Jam. So every DJ had a set in each one. So mine was, the first one was the courtyard, which was cool, but it was more like a pub back garden. Yeah. It was like, it wasn't a vibe. It was a vibe, but everyone was kind of spread out. And I think it's because it was early on as well. But then I went to the beach and I had the closing set at the beach, which is like the main part, which I was really happy about. And like the beach, it's like sheltered. There's all like sand. It's pretty cool. And like all the tables are kind of like not too far from each other. And like, it was such good fun. It was obviously different with the circumstances, but like, it was good because it was just really sociable.
Yeah.
And like, they weren't too strict. Like I had another table of mates and like, we can kind of just go back and forth. And, it wasn't stay in your seats and you have to stay there. It's kind of like, but it was a good vibe. Like, because obviously there's nothing going on. So given the circumstances, it was really good fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about them. There's like, obviously the like one that Patrick did. And there's like a few going around. I was talking to Youssef the other day and he sent me like a couple of videos of ones that he's done. And I'm just, it's different. I don't know how long it's going to last. But it's definitely an interesting concept.
I think as long as it's kind of keep industry going, I think that's one of the main things. It's still money getting pushed in and stuff. Like if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. Like, but I think it's better than nothing. It's something for people to just go out and meet their friends and have good music.
Yeah.
Like the Brixton Jam, the lineups are so good. Yeah. Like they've got like, this week they've got like Eats Everything. They've had Hammer, Horse Meat Disco, Dennis Salter. So it's really cool acts.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a bit of a bugger because it's just tables only. And like, they're like 150 for like the cheapest one. So it works out like 30 a head kind of thing. And then you got to get your drinks on top. So it's quite an expensive day, but if you do it every so often, it's not too bad.
Well, I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think that's what's going to probably happen is you're going to get a lot of bigger DJs that play smaller venues, but the tickets are going to be a lot more expensive.
Yeah. Bit of a bummer, but
is what it is, people. Is what it is.
We move, we adapt.
Yeah, definitely. What have you got coming out music wise?
I've got a remix coming out. I think it's in about a month's time. It's a bit of a top secret artist.
I nearly said who it was.
Well, like what I've gathered even with like, because I've been doing events for like the past 3 years, and just with anything in general, I try and just not tell anyone's shit anymore.
Yeah.
Because like when you start telling people stuff, it's like a lot of the time it doesn't happen. Like, with like interviews, and if you're meeting a girl or something, and it's like the more you tell, and if it goes shit, it's like you've got to tell everyone after that. And I just like kind of just showing people, when it does happen. And I've really tried to not tell anyone about the remix. And I'm sharing it with Paul Wolford and Melody. So it's really like, I'm really kind of proud of it.
Yeah.
because they're two artists that I kind of, you know, I look up to. So yeah, that's out in October, and I've got a few more of Stress, and some other labels that I'm kind of locking in with. So
Cool, man.
but yeah, no, it's going really well. I've got like an itinerary now where I'm just really comfortable with until like next summer.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm so happy with it because I'm not as stressed.
Yeah.
Like after Let's Just, I was like, shit, I've got to make some music to follow up. And now I'm just like, I'm not pressured in the studio anymore. Like I feel really good.
Yes.
So it is good.
It for me, I've always, over the last like 2 years, maybe 18 months, I've always like had like a good plan of what's coming next, or what's coming next, like for like 3 releases. And it's always helped me because it's just like there's no pressure when you get in the studio. I think for me now, I've got a A&R session with my team probably at the end of September, and I think we're good until like 2022. And you just like, it's such a nice feeling because
it's unbelievable, yeah.
Because you're just like, well, I'm still going to be writing music, and I'm just going to be trying to write better music. And if something's not better, then it just gets scrapped. Or it's just a tool for the club. So I am a firm believer of planning and making sure that you've got everything locked in.
100%.
Because it just makes the studio so much nicer, so much more fun.
And like I was saying with the whole, you know, like you said, 2022, I feel like for me personally, I hate pressure. Like I really do. Like it depends what content. Like pressure when you've got a gig, I love it.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to like pressure of like making music and stuff, it really does have an effect on me in the studio.
Well, being creative shouldn't be pressure. You shouldn't have pressure when you're being creative. Yeah. I think deadlines can work for me. I don't know about you, but like having a deadline, if it's a remix or something like that does help me. But when you're trying to create something like brand new, like, and being like, I need to write a record as good as Let's Just, or I need to do this, it's fucking not fun, man. It's not fun.
It's not at all. It's not. That's the only thing with the whole Let's Just thing being my debut release. It's just like the only thing with that is just it's just the comparing, and it's just like, oh, I'm just gonna get bored. Like it's good because a lot of my demos, people are like, this is better than Let's Just and all this. But like it's just constantly that kind of, you know, I don't mind it, but it's what it is. But
is it comparing, or is it just a case of quality? Is that you want it to be as good as Let's Just, but not necessarily that it's the same record or anything like that, but it's just as good quality. Yeah, because Let's Just is it's produced really well. It's a really fucking good record, and I think that's the thing. Is like, do you want to release a record that's the same? No, you don't. But you want to release a record that is just as like quality as that, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, but the minute you've written a big record, is everyone wants that over and over again. Exactly.
Yeah. That's what I've seen, like a lot of comments there. It's like, you've got to keep making more like this. And it's like, yeah, but I do want to make stuff different. Like, I don't want it all to be like Let's Just, you know what I mean?
You want to make trance, mate.
Yes, that's what we're talking about. And I've got some piano tracks. I've got I've got all sorts. And I feel like I'm just having fun with it. I don't want to keep kind of following a routine where, you know, and I think a few people think I'm going down the melodic route when I'm not. Like, I don't mind melodic music, but it's just not as like exciting for me. I like high energy kind of like, you know, ravey stuff, and not too much, but yeah, I do like just making a bit of variety, you know. Like I've made some stuff that is like Let's Just, like bicep-y stuff, but then I've also made some like piano tracks. So it's just you know, it's just a bit of everything.
Just got to enjoy it, man.
I'm feeling in the studio at the time. Yeah.
Have you done the remix of Father yet?
No, I was actually thinking of this the other day. I was actually going to bring this up just then. It's like that and You Take Me High is your best work in my opinion. That is such a dope record.
I don't know when it's coming out now. It's supposed to be coming out this year, but it's not.
It's no rush.
I've done a follow-up. If I sent you the follow-up.
Yeah, is it the with Shermanology again? Yeah, that's dope. But isn't that like
Searching.
It's not got a piano riff? It's like kind of like a
chordy.
I remember you told me you wanted it a bit like, was it not Pijano or whatever it was? Was you wanted?
Oh no, not that one. Not that one.
Oh, not that one.
No.
All right, no.
I'll send that. I'll send it to you.
Mate, I'm obsessed with Shermanology's voice.
That's so good. She's such a good singer.
So
And he's a dope producer.
Yeah, he's really, really cool. They've been doing really well at the minute. I've heard them on Radio 1 a couple of times.
Yeah.
And smashing
Well,
it.
they did a record with Avicii years ago.
Yeah, and
Tiesto and like just like all the big guys.
Yeah. It's dope.
They're great guys.
Yeah, he seems really nice when I've chatted to him on WhatsApp, and that's just really genuine and humble.
Yeah.
Makes a difference, doesn't it?
I think most people in this industry are.
Yeah.
Realistically, you put 100 people in a room, you're going to get a few dickheads.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of just the laws of averages.
Yeah.
But most people are dope.
Definitely.
Right, dude. Let's wrap this baby up. Thanks for coming on.
It's been a pleasure. I've had a really good time.
No, it's been good fun. How can people follow you?
Instagram, it's Tommy Farrow Music. And then, that's the main one. I don't really use Twitter. So, Tommy Farrow Music, if you want to hit me up.
Dope. Nice one, mate.
Cool
thanks for coming on. Keep safe.
Yeah, thanks for that, Will. Appreciate it, buddy.
And let's catch up. Come down to the studio. We'll get some work.
Yes,
that
going. Needs to happen 100%.
Cool.
We'll make some magic.
Big love, man. See you in a bit.
Oh, man. See you later, bro.
And that is a wrap. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you did, please share it and give us a little review in the review bar. Send it to your mates, whatever. But yeah, see you soon. Big love.